Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ikiwa ni tarehe 19 mwezi Muharram mwaka 1441 sawia na tarehe 18 mwezi Septemba mwaka 2019, karibu katika Sabah Show, uchambuzi wa gazeti tukipeperusha katikati mwa jiji la Nairobi, msikiti wa Jamia. Jina langu ni Ibtisam Jamal. Baada ya uchambuzi wa magazeti tutaweza kuingia kwa business chat, ambapo mada yetu leo ni Halal Expo. Bila kupoteza wakati, habari zenu? Nzoveri, mbona ni kama huna chai?
Niko salama.
Uko salama? Katika gazeti leo la Standard nasema kwamba Uhuru Ruto office in spending spree. It says here, in 2017-2018 presidency used 99.4 million. In 2018-2019 196 million. National Assembly used 719 million, 0.5. In 2018-2019, 1.6 billion. Parliamentary Service Commission used Kenya shilling 596 million 2017-2018, and 2018-2019 695.3 million. That's double. Abubakar, here we say that we don't have money. The budget deficit, we have loans to pay, but according to the paper and the statistics shows here that the presidency is using so much money on foreign trips other than developments. How does it pain you as a taxpayer?
Of course, it's very painful. Putting in consideration that Kenya is among the countries in the world with the highest taxes on its citizens. We look at our economy and we come to realize one thing: there is a mismatch somewhere. Because you say there is no money, but you increase the amount of money that is being used on foreign trips. You say there is no money to allocate to the county governments, and yet some county governments like Kwale are giving surplus back to the national government. You talk about there isn't enough money. You are borrowing from outside, but the development projects that you're investing in, they are not bringing as much profit. We are spending more on development projects, or else in other countries, look at Ethiopia, they build a dual railway system, and like us, they used almost half of what we spent. You could even
take a look at Egypt, 6 lane.
Yeah, it's about, I think there is too much mismanagement of funds. Because when you talk about a development project, when you talk about building a dam, let alone the foreign trips, there is someone somewhere sitting and looking at how much will I eat from this. Look at how much you spend not only on foreign trips. Look at it from a wider perspective. Look at sensors, land compensation and such kind of stuff. We have people who eat into government funds, and it's all about the system. The system is not very keen enough to make sure that there are no such loopholes. Because in a developed countries, most countries of Europe, if one person gets in a scandal, a corruption scandal, then he resigns, he's taken to court, he's prosecuted, maybe for a loss of like 50 million Kenya shillings. But what happens in Kenya? A person is involved in a scandal involving more than billions of shillings, but the person is let free. At first, it will start, the case will heat up, will be taken to court, everyone will be talking, let him resign, they start looking for replacement. But after 1 month, everyone is quiet. Who is talking about Rotich right now? No. But, it started up, we were so eager talking about, we do not want corruption in our country, we do not want this, we do not want that. One is realized to be involved in mismanagement of government funds, but we have not seen anyone being prosecuted. And now, when it's all about the example that is set up there. Because if you look at it, a person who has been involved in billions of shillings mismanagement of funds, and then I'm in charge of a development project in a county government or in a national government, if I dip my pocket to take 20 million shillings, then you see no big deal in it, because someone is stealing billions. So for me, you are seeing it as less of a crime. So that's why we need a system, a judicial system, you know, that you know, fills these loopholes, because we are seeing a lot of corruption in this country, and we do not have to wait to hear that 1 billion has been mismanaged or such. It's happening within the projects. Yes, we are allocating money to develop this country, but people are dipping their hands into the money. So we need to review our judicial system. How well is it? How is it capturing, you know, the slightest of corruption cases, you know, and how are we getting to prosecute these people? Otherwise, we'll talk about foreign trips, we'll talk about development dams and such, we'll talk about this cabinet secretary, this principal secretary, but you know, what's the solution? The judicial system needs to be reviewed.
And so let me read to you a paragraph. This is a report from Budget Control Office. It says here, state corporations spent more on foreign travel, conferences, training, domestic travel, making mockery of the government's objective of trimming its budget. I think recently we saw so many MPs went to the US, very large number of MPs, which it sparked different emotions and views from Kenyans. Do you think spending from the government offices, government top officials should be regulated?
Thank you so much for hosting me
You're
today.
welcome.
I want to first and foremost say that as a country we need to borrow a lot or a leaf from the Tanzanian government. They have done a lot when it comes to foreign trips. Let's take an example of Tanzania's President Pombe Magufuli. The president doesn't travel a lot like our president out of the country. He uses his envoys in those countries that he's supposed to be traveling to. As a country, let us make good use of our ambassadors in the countries that they represent our country, because we use a lot of money. We use a lot of millions and billions of money for travel allowances of these people traveling outside. You find out in the county government, someone is going to benchmark in South Africa where there is no devolved government. Devolved government, even the Parliament of Kenya and the Parliament of South Africa, I think the government of Kenya is much vibrant as compared to any other parliament in this region. I think it has come to a time where we need to make good use of the expenditure as a country. And the state corporate officers who are traveling outside the country, they must give a valid reason to why they are traveling. Recently, we have been having a problem with the MPs who travel to the US. The parliament says that the number of MPs who are traveling is less than the report the media is giving. They accuse the media for giving the report to the public. But in real sense, these people have traveled out of the country and they're using taxpayers' money. An example, recently we had World Cup and MPs are going to watch World Cup when Kenya itself is not there. We need to change.
To change. People's Daily, the front page says here, Ruto blames Jubilee divisions on Raila. He says there's a rift in Jubilee fueled by some politicians' factions, some of Punguza Mzigo and others are on Geza Mzigo initiatives. Abubakar, is there a rift in Jubilee?
I mean, the rift in Jubilee is as clear as Rift Valley. You know, I look back at the time the handshake happened, and I saw Jubilee politicians, especially Waitito. He went to a certain church on a Sunday, and he was telling, I guess it was in Kiambu, he was telling the followers of the church, you know, when we are praying, we should not close our eyes when Raila is there, because you know the history he had in the other parties. You know, he comes, you know, in the name of creating a rapport and such, and he breaks a party from within. You know, talking about Jubilee is in rift, but I'm not very concerned about whether there is a rift in Jubilee or not, because it's not about 100% politics. As much as Ruto is talking about this because it's disadvantaging him to a certain extent. Because now because we have two teams, you have Team Keleke, Team Tangatanga, so we have a certain partition of the Jubilee party who are not in 100% support of Ruto, and this is very clear. You know, they have come out clearly that, you know, it's two parties, one party in two. I mean, two in one. So Ruto is is worried by himself because he is clearly ambitious about being the president in 2022. But let's look at it from another perspective about the Building Bridges initiative. You know, the handshake that came. What will it bring to the table? Look at the benefit that, you know, came with the handshake. Peace in the country. There was a lot of tensions. You know, slightly less than half is following this direction. The other half is following this direction. They are saying, do not use certain telecommunication lanes. Do not buy certain, you know, brands of milk and such. There was a lot of tension, a lot of division in the country, and people are worried that it might erupt into violence and such, and it created a very bad, you know, business environment, because investors are not willing, foreign investors are not willing to put their money in Kenya, because you do not know of what will happen in the future. But after the handshake, peace came to be. You know, people right now who could not see each other face to face can now sit down and have a cup of tea, which is very positive. But if at all these two people, His Excellency the President and former Prime Minister, have the sincerest of interest of the citizens of this country as what they tell us, because they are out there telling us, you know, we are here to unite this country. We are here to remove, you know, ethnic divisions, you know, tribal divisions in this country. If at all, and we have the Building Bridges initiative that the committee itself, which has been put in place, and I've seen some of the reports that they have, and, you know, they highlight those ethnic unity and such. If at all those are the aims of the handshake or the BBI, then we should have a national party. You know, we should have now a change in our politics. Look at what happens. Again, you know, we have to benchmark from developed countries, because we have politics in Africa is very, I mean, it's very backward. It's very primitive. It's based on tribes, ethnicity and such, and that's why we see violence in some areas of Africa. So we need parties which are formed on the basis of ideologies. Look at US and Britain. Their parties, it's not about where my region or the southern part, it's where I live, so I'm in this party. No, you cannot tell a person's party from where he lives, but from his ideology. So what if we had a revolution in our politics, that we no longer have Jubilee, which is comprised of a certain part of the country, and ODM, which is comprised of, you know, members of a certain part of the country, but we overhaul this. And if at all BBI is to work, we need a party that represents a national outlook, a party that is based on ideology, and we also need an opposition, because government will always fail without opposition. Because who will criticize the government on its wrongdoings? Because every government has its weaknesses. So we need that national outlook when it comes to parties, if at all this Building Bridges initiative is to work. Otherwise, we'll have that committee. It will be allocated money, and we may not see much that they will do with the money. But when we come again in 2022, we have parties which are based on, you know, tribal basis. So will we really serve the purpose for the handshake? Will we really serve the purpose for BBI? So I think that's my point of view.
And so, is it time for politics, or is it time for development as a country? Where are we heading?
African leaders are characterized as politicians, and once a politician will remain to be a politician. And what we are experiencing now in the country is like someone is trying to show, have the following, you have the following. There is Raila the brand, and Uhuru and Ruto trying to become a brand for themselves. And what we're speaking about right now, we must, and as a country, we should concentrate much on the development agendas than on the politics. We still have time. We will politic. We still have 3 years. And we just come recently from an election. We have just voted. And we need to give these leaders we elected an opportunity to serve. Like me, where I come from, I didn't elect someone, but he was elected by other people. As a person, as a citizen of that county, I need to give the governor, I need to give the senator or the women rep time to work for the people. As we speak right now, we have Team Kieleweke, Team Tangatanga, Team Embrace, Team Inua Mama. We are dividing the country. And in the real sense, there is no Inua Mama, Team Embrace, and there is nothing. There is nothing that they are embracing right now. Rather, they are dividing the people. And if we concentrate in dividing the people, then we are going back to 2007. And as a country, we don't want to go back there. What we are now waiting for is for the BBI to give us a report. Is either as we will pass it in the referendum or we reject it. But what we are looking for as a country is development. The people are waiting for development. Children want to go to school. We want better roads. We want better health care, but not politics. And I want to ask Kenyans to really concentrate much and give much their attention to development rather than politics. Every Sunday you find people in church fighting. Then we have lost relevance. We have lost the meaningful of these holy places. People going to fight there. And I like it with the Muslims. They don't allow these people into their worship places because they know what is meaning of worship and what is meaning to do with politics. If we mix politics and the worship, we are losing it as a country.
Before you give us a comment, let us take a short break. We'll come back with your comment, Abubakar. Na mtazamaji, tupate pumziko fupi, tarejea baada ya muda usiokuwa mrefu. Usiende mbali. Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
On the next episode,
wakati hukumu inapopitishwa, Shetani atasimama, atazungumza, na wajua siku hiyo watu wote watamsifu Mwenyezi Mungu, hata wale ambao watatiwa motoni watamsifu, watasema alhamdulillah. Wanasema alhamdulillah biadlihi, ile uadilifu ambayo Mwenyezi Mungu atakayofanya, kwa sababu mtu atasomewa kesi yake na apewe matendo yake. Hii umefanya, nimefanya, hii umefanya, anaambiwa ikra kitabaka kafa binafsika alyawma alayka hasiba. Mwisho watasema, hata kama waingia motoni, watasema alhamdulillah, kwa kuwa Mwenyezi Mungu ni mwadilifu.
Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said the believers encourage people to reconcile relations with those who have cut them off, give charity to those who have deprived them, forgive those who have oppressed them, be kind with parents, uphold family ties, be kind with neighbors, be kind with orphans, travelers, and the poor, and to be gentle with servants. They forbid bragging, arrogance, and transgression. They discourage people from feeling superior over others, rightly or wrongly. They enjoin people to use lofty manners and prohibit them from pursuing trifles. All that they say or do from these values and other teachings, in all of it they follow the Quran and the Sunnah. Their path is the religion of Islam, with which Allah has sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karibu katika awamu yetu ya pili ya uchambuzi wa magazeti. Kipindi ni Sabah Show. Tukiendelea na uchambuzi wetu, Daily Nation front page says here, teachers failed to test on grade 3 assessment. Asema some children found out yesterday an exam by another name would be just stressful. Teachers and head teachers are complaining that it is too expensive for them because they have to print, they have to go to cyber cafes and do photocopies, of which the government has not disbursed money for that, so they have to go into their pockets and parents' pockets to do that. Some saying that the exercise wasn't, orientation wasn't good enough and the training wasn't, they didn't have much time, so it's kind of confusing. But other head teachers are saying that it was smooth sailed and it went well for the first day. And I think you're not agreeing with that. Why is that? So there's a bit of confusion.
Yes, I don't agree with this because first and foremost, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, he didn't conduct he didn't conduct an exercise where all teachers were required to go through the training, efficient training, not just training, to explain to them what they are supposed to be doing. But we have a Cabinet Secretary of Education who wakes up in the morning and says, whatever I've said, it's going to work and it must work like that. Now the teachers, on the other side, the union of the teachers, say that, or unless you consult us, not unless you let us even echo our words into what you are going to do, then we don't agree with you. That is now the problem what we are having. And at the end of the day, those who are going to suffer, they are the children. Because they are very innocent. An example there are other counties where the exercise happened effectively. There was a smooth running of activities.
Smooth sailing, yes.
And take an example of those areas that the exercise didn't take place. Now those children are the ones who are suffering. Then the Minister of Education must go back to the drawing board. They sit back in their board. Where did they go wrong? What happened during that time? They need to come up with a clear formula, with a clear formulation of this CBC, so that we have an effective running of the CBC. Because this curriculum is very good. It's welcoming. But the question is, are the concerned parties being consulted? Are the concerned parties being told what they are supposed to do?
Okay, Abubakar, do you think we were in a hurry to implement CBC, or is it that as Kenyans we don't accept change more often?
You know, I do not blame anyone for this. First, I'm in 100% support of the CBC because we have seen 844 and the effects it has had. You know, it was effective at first, but we have moved over time. The country is developing. We need a competency-based curriculum, which is what we have right now. But the problem is in the implementation of it. First, anytime you have something new, you expect challenges with it. You expect that you are having the first national examination, you'll have some challenges with it. It's something that people are not well familiarized with. And it's partially on the government, you know. The government is partially to be blamed because they have not, 2 weeks training is not enough to run a curriculum which runs for almost 16, 18 years. 2 weeks training is not enough, you know. These are people who will use this curriculum on a daily basis, morning to evening. So we need a continuous training for this so that, you know, it can come to pass. This dream can come to be realized. We need on holidays for the first like 3 years or 5 years that the teachers are continue with the training. And, you know, unfortunately to say, the Cabinet Secretary, when he introduced the curriculum, he imposed it on people, to be honest. As much as it was a good idea, he imposed it on people and there was not enough public participation. And that's why we experienced resistance from NAT and from the Sosion was very loud about it. And for something to work, you have to have a dialogue. You have to involve people in whatever you're doing. And now, grade 3 students are supposed to be having a national examination, which they are. The examination, you know, 844 was very much exam oriented. And some teachers, because that's what they are used to, they are making it more of an exam which is not what the ministry wants to happen. But what can we do? The Ministry of Education should take it upon themselves to talk with to do more trainings on the teachers, to ensure that the teachers themselves embrace what they are teaching. They love what they are doing. That's the time that it will be successful.
Yeah, first they must have a goodwill from the teachers. The teachers must be like we are in unison support of this system so that they have effective run. Because if we have a division between the two, then one party is pulling on the other side, the other party is pulling on the other side, the curriculum-based system will not work. It's a very good system, but consultation will be very important.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me look at the staff front page. It says here, Kirubi, my fight with cancer. He lifts the lid on his health after he was diagnosed with cancer. He says there that his cancer was discovered in stage 2, and that's a good thing, because when it is discovered early, it is easier to be maintained rather than discovered late, like we saw former Kibra MP Ken Okoth, we saw Bob Kolimo, former CEO of Safaricom, we saw the governor also. It is that when it is discovered early, it is much better. Abubakar, do you think we should invest more in cancer? We've been repeating that question for so long, but in case maybe someone has cancer and our hospitals are well equipped and we have the doctors who have the knowledge about cancer, if it was discovered earlier, it is easier to maintain and easier to avoid death, which are more often occurring in Kenya.
Cancer it's a major disaster in this country, and there were some requests, some time back after we experienced very many deaths that it should be declared a national disaster. When you declare something a national disaster, you get foreign aid from countries, from organizations, you get funds specifically to enable you fight with the disaster itself. But cancer is a very big thing. And for you to reduce the deaths or the incidences of cancer, it takes a lot of effort. First, with the people, because as much as these are diseases that gets people unawares. You just have problems. You think it's this, then it's discovered in late stages that it's cancer. So we need to look at our health first. We need to go for screenings. As much as look at the types of cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, which you are prone to, and go for screening itself, so that at least Kirubi, it was discovered in stage 2, which is very manageable. And then look at the government. What happens when you're discovered with cancer? You have to raise $1 million or $2 million to go to India for treatment, which is very unfortunate. We need the government, the Ministry of Health, the health sector in itself to invest, at least have a cancer center in this country, that you are, even if it's one place that you are sure that if I go to this place, it's almost or near to the services that I will get in India, and it's more favorable. Even if it won't be as cheap as it won't be expensive as India, it will be kinda manageable. So, and also look at the rich people in this country. Look at Chris Kirubi, Bob Kolimo and such, people who are suffering from these diseases. And Margaret Kenyatta, the First Lady, has done a lot with the Beyond Zero campaign. She has brought free maternity to the mothers, and that is from her own capacity. There is no stipulated legislation telling you that if you are First Lady, you should start an initiative. Chris Kirubi is a very well-doing entrepreneur, and he is a victim of cancer. But unfortunately, we do not see that goodwill, from people who are well off in the society, having that incentive to help others. Because if you have a group of people who come together, the likes of Chandaria, Chris Kirubi and such people, or Kolimo and such, or those kinds of people who have faced such kind of diseases, then they come up and start maybe a cancer awareness, or they are able to raise maybe a certain amount of funds to help cancer patients. At the end, we look at individualism in Kenya. It's a bit worrying, because even our footballers, they go out of the country, they do not bring much. So it's for us to go for the cancer screening, the government to ensure that we have at least one cancer center, treatment center in the country, And if you are well off in the society, take it upon yourself to help the others, because as much as you may be rich and such, we all leave this money here.
Nzoveri, when I look at Taifa Leo front page, inasema kwamba magavana wa hepa Ruto. Inasema kwamba idadi kubwa magavana walikuwa wakiunga mkono naibu rais William Ruto wameingiwa na baridi kidogo na kumhepa, huku wakiendelea kutembelea maeneo tofauti nchini kutafuta ungwaji mkono kumrithi rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Baadhi yao wanaogopa kuandamwa na kashfa za ufujaji wa fedha na kutolipa ushuru kwa KRA. You're all laughing. Yeah, so it is not because they think it is much better for Kenyans or for peace, but for their own selfish reasons. Yeah.
I kindly request you for only 30 seconds. You allow me to comment on the issue of cancer.
Yes.
And there's a very important issue that we need to address as a country. But much has been said by my brother here. But what I want to echo on is the government should invest much in manpower than building cancer centers. We might have 100 or 1 million cancer centers or 47 cancer centers in every county, but without manpower, those people who have been trained to do the work, then we are zero. The issue of governors running away from Ruto, it has come to a time that these governors have realized what they are doing is wrong. I think it might be one way or another, because the government might refuse to fund the governors. If the government doesn't fund you as a governor, then running or function in your counties will be like low, because people will now start complaining about you. But now is like there is a big reason to why they have run away from the deputy president. The recently was Taita Taveta governor Samboja, who openly told the deputy president to allow him to work for the people of Taita Taveta, because it's not time for politics, it's time for development. I think the issue of corruption is the one that is making them run away, because it has come to public domain that they have branded the deputy president as a corrupt person. So the governor sees that like it's a problem to them, because recently I saw an article that was written, and it was like in a meeting where Wasingishu governor was addressing the deputy president and telling him that it's not time for you to keep on running all over in this country that you want to be the president, because there are so many people who want to be the president, but wait, there is time for everything. I think there is time for everything, and these governors should allow, they should like work for the people who elected them, because for those who are seeking for the second term, it's very important for them to work, because there's nothing painful for you to be a governor, a first-term governor, then you end up at the first term. It's very painful. Yes.
Abubakar, do you think corruption, corrupt governors action should be taken against them, even if they're in whatever party, wanaunga mkono mtu yoyote? Do you think action should be taken wherever they are?
Of course, we cannot let impunity reign in this country, and the moment you let, big fish, do what they are doing, and it's wrong, they become experts in it. They take it as a profession, So governors getting away from Ruto, it could be for 3 or 4 reasons. One is, as he said, the fight against corruption. The changing of currency was viewed as a strategy against Ruto. For some reason, they perceive him to be corrupt, which is, I may not agree or disagree to it, because I do not have the facts of it. But another reason would be, looking at the changing of politics. A very huge percentage is with Team Kieleweke or the BBI or such. We tend to see like Ruto is the opposition right now, and people are seeing from the politics, the dynamics of it, by 2022, Ruto might not be the one to take the day. So it might be another reason why they are getting away from him. And also the issue of politics, because after 2017 elections, we saw the president had an agenda, to leave a legacy. He's not talking about much about the legacy right now, because of the issues that country is facing, finances and such. But the president was focused on leaving a legacy. He was focused on the Big Four agenda. But Ruto had one eye, His Excellency Deputy President had one eye still on the 2022 election. And we need to look at the politics system that we use. The reason we do not have much politicking in developed countries is because for them the president is elected by the National Assembly or such, you know, it's that kind of system. And we could, in universities some time ago, we had that system that, you know, a university student could vote for the president, and it caused a lot of chaos in the university because there was a lot of campaigns and there was a lot of, you know, political environment, you know, tensions rising because everyone is using his money to ensure that they clinch the seat. But they were adopted a delegate system, you know, that members who are elected, you know, it's the same that happens, you know. If MPs were to be voting for a president, we could not be seeing this. We could not be seeing people in churches every Sunday going to politics. We need to look at, is it possible for us to adopt such kind of thing? That you have the members of parliament voting for the president, then we would have less political tension in the country and we would be more focused on the development. Because if I want to be the president, and I'm sure that if you do not have that vote that you can make me the president, then I won't struggle, you know, giving you money, sijui pesa ya macho, or coming to your place of worship to talk to you, because at the end of the day it's all about the MPs who are voting. Yeah.
Thank you. Kenya Airways suspends the FO in executive fallout. It says the executive sent on compulsory leave last Friday after differing on strategy with cash-strapped the national carrier. Mtazamaji, tupate pumziko fupi, tarejea baada muda usio kwa mrefu, siende mbali.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Repel the thought, for if you don't, it becomes an idea. So repel the idea, for if you don't, it will become a desire. So fight against that desire, for if you don't, it will become a determination and a passion. And if you don't repel that, it will become an action. And if you don't replace it with its opposite, it will become a constant habit. So at that point, it will be difficult for you to change it.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Mwacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on the Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probes in Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Karibu katika awamu yetu ya tatu na ya mwisho ya uchambuzi wa magazeti. Nikiangalia gazeti la The Standard page 6 says here Mutua tops in governance poll. Alfred Mutua was number 1 with 460. Oparanya was 440. Mike Mbuvi Sonko was 406. Kivutha Kibwana was number 4. Ali Hassan Joho was number 5. When you look at social media and how Kenyans are reacting, are really opposing the report, and you are laughing. It says here it is they're not agreeing with the report. It says here some governors who are top when you look at the developments in their counties, they are the last ones, but they were top. And so very, if I'll start with you.
Me, personally, I support because I've been to Machakos County. I've seen what is happening in Machakos County. Dr. Alfred Mutua deserves that. In Nairobi County, you see what is happening here. As much as there are challenges, but there is at least a change compared to the other previous regimes and this regime. I think I want to support these findings that was done to show the ranking of governors. But that withstanding, look at those governors that are the lower bottom, like Governor Witi from Cyprian Awiti. The guy, God forbid, but the guy can't even manage to even construct a school.
Has negative 615.
600.
Negative.
600.
Negative 600.
The guy can't even construct a bridge whereby we can even see and say this governor has done something. The governors must realize one thing: they are working for Kenyans, they are not working for themselves, and they should separate between politics and development. Example of governor of Kiambu, Waititu, see where he is. The governor of Vihiga, see where he is. You must give an ear to the people. Listen to what people want. Give people public participation for them to listen to you and get what they want to be done for them. Because don't sit there and to say that you have this kind of people, we will come and discuss and see, then we implement these things to the people. No. Among the governors who are top in there, they have a good relationship with the senator. They have a good relationship with the members of parliament. They work harmoniously to see that there is a development in their counties. The evolution came to raise the standard of those people who were unable to get the resources from the national government. The governors must wake up. Those governors on the lower bottom, they must wake up. And my question really goes to the opposition leader, Raila Odinga. Many of the governors who are on the lower bottom are from the ODM. And it's high time Raila Odinga should call for a meeting with these governors to address this issue, to call them and tell them, I am the father of devolution and you are letting me down. You are in my party and you are letting me down. They should wake up.
Wake up. Abubakar, some governors like, let's say, Hali Asanjo, people from Mombasa County are complaining and are posting different pictures on social media. One of them is showing how much shops are being closed. It's becoming a ghost town. Then our economies in Mombasa is flopping at a higher rate. People are saying that in some years to come, it will be a ghost town.
You know, first I feel like laughing when I see there's someone who has 440 points, another one has negative
615. You know, we have negative 180.
Yeah, you know, it's very funny, you know, and it just shows the disparity in efficiency, you know, in the leaders that we choose. And you wonder, you know, how could you, some of them, of the governors who have negatives, they were re-elected, they are in their second terms. But you wonder, is it that they did a lot in the first term so that they were re-elected and now they have nothing much to do because they do not have to run another term? But look at it, but at first, I think Kivutha Kibwana would have been the best performing governor. I know the guy is doing a lot in Makueni County. Alfred Mutua is doing a lot, but I think number 2 or 3 would have suit him best. But Kivutha Kibwana, for me, I think he's the best performing governor. He involves himself less in politics. But also, I come to question how the survey was conducted. First, it's positive that it was conducted by a foreign organization. Otherwise, if it were conducted by, you know, a Kenyan organization, we would all be saying, you know, it's politics, it's, you know, but the simple fact that it was conducted by a foreign organization, maybe we can give it some credit. But look at it.
You should be patriotism. Yeah.
No, look at it this way. I mean, some governors, it's about some politics, you know, politics have affected the efficiency of governors, and they need to focus more on development, to be honest. They need to focus more on development.
I think the way he has said, Governor Kivutha Kibwana deserves the best. Governor Oparanya deserves the best. If you go the entrance to Kakamega town, you see very, very big change as compared to what has been happening. Even in Nairobi, Ruthuli Street, there is a great difference. So we need to give credit to these governors. I think Governor Joe is doing the best. I think he needs to pull up his socks. Yes.
When you look at page 8 at the standard says here, exam board identifies cheating hotspots. As we are nearing the national exam of class 8 and form 4, there are 16 counties that have been identified as hotspots of cheating. I'll name a few. We have Bungoma, Kisumu, Kisii, Homa Bay, Migori. We have Meru, Isiolo, Turkana, West Pokot, Kericho, Marakwet, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera. But over the years, we've seen that the government, through Ministry of Education, has done more work in curbing cheating. We've had less exam cheating cases over the years, other than comparing like 5 years down the line or 6 years down the line. We used to see so many schools, so many students cheating, and nothing much is done. Do you think it's a good move to at least now we have identified which are the hotspots and which are the areas and what to do? Abubakar, briefly.
Yeah, it's good that we have identified, and we need to appreciate the Ministry of Education, because cheating levels has reduced greatly in the country. But I need to look at the trend of the counties which has been identified as hotspots. These are counties which have very low educational levels. West Pokot, Turkana, and such. These are counties which do not have enough teachers. And I wouldn't blame them much for cheating. I mean, as much as you are increasing the amount of invigilators during the examination time, how about the normal times? How many teachers do they have? Yeah.
No.
But before you, let me read something to you. It says here, TSC already sacked 20 teachers out of 30 who were mentioned in exam irregularities last year.
Yes. I will first now to agree that exam cheating is something that is something of the past. Because let us take an example. How many people do in this country have degrees, PhDs? There is no job because people compete so much to be number one. That's why we support the CBC, so that you, when you are in class, you concentrate much in something that will build you as an individual, not competing to exam-oriented curriculum. So, one, I want to raise an alarm that there are counties that are on a red alert of stealing exams. I want to even question the Commission of Examination. Which criteria did they use to identify that these areas are going to steal exams? Nor else they are diverting our attention so that we concentrate on those areas and forget about the other areas. Each and every place as we speak right now is on red alert. And as an examination commission, the Ministry of Education should put equal measures. The equal measures they put in Garissa should be the equal measure they put in Nairobi. Because there are no different child in Garissa and Nairobi, Kakamega and Kisumu and wherever else. So this issue of saying that these areas are on a red alert and no, you are just trying to divert our attention. Because within the commission, who leaked the exam? Because we are being told that these exams are being guarded. So who is the one leaking the exams? He should work within first and ensure that within the commission, within those who are setting the exams, those who are doing the exams, those who are setting the exams, those who are taking care of the exams, should ensure that the exams don't leak.
Page 6 of People's Daily says here, will not allow outsiders to take Kibra seat or DM vows. Should you be in a certain area for you to vie for a seat, Abubakar, briefly?
You know,
or is it my right as a Kenyan to vie at any area, even if I don't live in that area?
It's your right, but again, we look at how well will you understand the challenges those people go through. Because if I go to another constituency, a place I've not even lived, how will I understand the challenges that the people are facing? Because it's about changing their lives. It's about bringing development to the area that you're vying for whatever seat that you're vying, and that's why the Kibra constituency, it's a constituency which needs a lot of understanding to deal with. It's a constituency which is demanding in terms of development, and for you to bring an outsider, it could work, it could not work, depending on the person you bring. But by all means, if possible, let it be the constituency that you are vying. Let you be a member. You are born there. At least you have some understanding with the people who live there, and you're able to hear them out and understand the challenges that they are facing.
And Zaveri, don't you think that the problems facing Kibra is the same things which are facing another area like Mukuru kwa Ruben, Mukuru kwa Njenga?
The problems that are being faced in Kibra are the same problems that are being faced in Mukuru kwa Njenga, Mukuru kwa Ruben, Dandora, Uruma, Kariobangi. Those are the same problems, because when you speak about insecurity in these areas, both areas have the issue of insecurity. Going back to the seat of Kibra, and my wish is to the people of Kibra, kindly people of Kibra, elect someone who has grown up in that area, someone who understands your challenge, someone who really knows what you guys
Let me cut
want.
you short. Let me cut you short, because I'm going to ask another question. Sorry, but I'm going to ask another question. Abu Bakar, Daily Nations page 3, it says here, injuries and medical errors highlighted at global event. It says here, unsafe and poor quality healthcare system blamed for health and death. Here, we've seen so many cases where the errors misdiagnosed within the hospitals, negligence between hospitals, nurses, doctors are not doing enough for the doctors, for the patients.
You know, it boils down to the training or the education that these people offered, because a certain time we saw, we have seen cases of doctors who are practicing but they are not licensed. We have seen cases of people who have come out of the medical schools and such, but they are not, they do not reach the standard, and that's where you get these errors. Because if someone is well educated, someone is well practically endowed with the skills to perform the duties that he's supposed to perform, I mean, it will be very rare for him to perform errors. So we should go and look at the training itself, the education itself, before we talk about the errors, because these doctors passed in medical institutions. So how well are the filters for the doctors that we bring out there? Because these are if economists make a mistake, then you can rectify. But if a doctor makes a mistake and your life is in danger, then that's a big problem. So our medical institutions need to game up and ensure that the people they give us, the doctors they give us are the best that we can have. And that's the only way we can reduce the errors to safeguard the lives of Kenyans.
Thank you, Bakar. Final question to you, Mr. Enzoveri. It says here, Building Bridges Task Force report is ready, and they're ready to launch it and give it to the President Uhuru Kenyatta.
The only thing I can say, let us wait for the report. I think it can change or destroy us. Let's just wait for the report. We will discuss about the report once it is out.
Thank you so much, Enzoveri, for coming to the show. Abubakar, shukran sana kwa kutoa maoni yako na kuweza kutujulisha zaidi yale yanayoendelea humu nchini. Na mtazamaji, tumefika tamati ya uchambuzi wa magazeti. Usiende mbali, tutarejea na Business Chat ambapo tunazungumzia kuhusiana na Halal Expo ambao inatarajiwa kufanyika weekendi hii katika jumba la biashara la Sarit Center, Westlands, Nairobi. Usiende mbali, jina langu ni Ibtisam Jamal na hii ni Sabah Show.
Assalamu alaikum. Kwa jina nilobarikiwa nalo ni Ibtisam Jamal. Ungana nami katika Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him maintain strong family ties. A hadith that I came across, which made me decide to make a surprise visit to my sister in Pennsylvania. When I read it, I was